Hello, friends, and welcome to this lesson. Now, today I am going to tell you what I learned from the pandemic. In a previous lesson, I had asked you what you learned from the pandemic. Now, today, let me tell you what I learned from the pandemic. दोस्तों, आज के इस लेसन में जैसे मैंने आपसे एक पिछले लेसन में कहा था कि आपने पैंडेमिक से क्या सीखा, इस पे कुछ बोल के, वीडियो बना के, कुछ भी करके शेयर करें। आज मैं ये आपके लिए कर रहा हूँ। ये लेसन सिर्फ इंग्लिश में बोला जाएगा। ये स्पोकन इंग्लिश का प्रोग्राम है। सो आगे मैं जो भी कहूँगा वो सिर्फ इंग्लिश में होगा। माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, इट वॉज इन मार्च that this thing called COVID-19 became some kind of a reality in my life. Before that, December onwards, I had read some reports in newspapers, etc., that there is some killer virus which is something that is deadly, which is something that is killing people in Europe, in America, and which is spreading very fast, and which would also be coming to India if we are not taking precautionary measures. But in March, it really hit home. Till then, I had no idea what this virus was and what it could do. And there were so many versions that people were saying. It came from bats, it came from a lab in Wuhan, it came from here, it came from there, it will do this, it will do that, it will be on paper, it will be on metal, it will be on plastic, it will be on this thing for so many days, it will come by air and catch you, all kinds of things. So in March, suddenly we had a closure in our institution, in the college where I work. We suddenly had a closure and we said we are going to take everything online. That was also the time when our government took a decision. A couple of days later, the government took a decision for a complete national lockdown. So this was something which was absolutely new for me because I had never seen, heard, or experienced anything of this kind. Now, the biggest challenge, the moment the lockdown was clamped, the biggest challenge was staying at home. Thank God that I am working in an educational institution and all our classes were converted to the online mode. So we use Zoom, we used GoToMeeting in order to conduct our classes from home. Now the biggest challenge when you have to be compulsorily at home, when you are forced to remain home, the biggest challenge become the tiniest and smallest things in life which we take for granted. Say a packet of milk, potatoes, tomatoes, onions, atta, rice, food grains, all your daily needs and essentials, they become a challenge. That is when I realized the importance of the last potato, importance of the last egg, importance of the little coffee left. So that is when I realized the importance of these things. Being at home, see, we take leaves and we want to be at home, and here we were home and we were not enjoying it. How long can you watch TV? How long can you sit and chat? How long can you not do anything? How long can you prevent yourself from going out? See, going out is so natural to us. We get up in the morning, we can go out. We go out for work. We come back in the evening, we go out for shopping. We come back in the night after dinner, we go out for a walk. So we go out so many times a day. And now we were all closed in. So that was a deep challenge. And second thing was the disturbing news items that were circulating. So when the first lockdown happened, we stopped the newspaper also. It was said newspaper can also carry it. And every time we did anything, we were sanitizing or going and washing our hands. At home we were not wearing masks, of course. So news would trickle in, and news would make us very, very nervous, because there were reports of people getting afflicted, there were reports of people dying of this virus, and there was no cure in sight. And then slowly we started getting news of some vaccines being developed, different platforms, all countries, putting in their expertise in order to develop vaccines. So as things happened, we started getting some news, and it was so frustrating that there is a virus there and we don't really know how to prevent this disease. If you get it, then death seemed a certainty. The moment you got it, it seemed that that's it, time to go. So all this nervousness was there, and then there were so many things circulating that you have this kadha, you have this concoction, you mix these things and boil it for this much time, cool it and have it twice a day and all that. So friends, hygiene is fine, but putting out things which are not proven, which do not have a history of having helped in something, or which would absolutely not help much, there I have a problem, because then this thing loses its meaning. Because if you send me something recipe that this will work, you have not tested it, I have not tested it, I start doing it, then I say, oh, this doesn't work, this just like that, then even something genuine that comes, that also loses its authenticity. Now friends, the first wave and second wave combined, yes, I have lost friends, I have also lost relatives. Now, my wife says one thing about COVID. She says COVID knocks at every door. So yes, especially in the second wave, I don't know if there are too many households left where somebody or the other has not been affected by COVID-19. And loss of friends and loss of relatives was such a deep disappointment that it will remain forever. This loss will remain forever, because if somebody is ill for a long time or somebody dies of old age, you don't feel so bad. But if somebody dies of a disease or pandemic of this kind, it feels that the life has been lost unnecessarily, that the person had so many more years to live, and especially the second wave where very young people have also died. So now, my dear friends, I'll tell you about my feeling of helplessness, which persists even today. I've had my first vaccination, but the feeling of helplessness is still there. I cannot go out. I don't want to go out too. And you feel helpless in a situation of this kind. Now, the lesson that I learnt from this pandemic, my dear friends, is that most of the things that we value are actually valueless. This house, an expensive watch, an expensive car, shoes which are purchased for a big sum of money, clothes, purses, television sets, and we value them. You are going in your car on the street and someone's, comes and hits against it and there's a small scratch. You want to kill that person. My dear friends, what you are valuing is not actually valuable. So we need to realize that we need a change in our thought process. We need to value the right things. You need to value trees. You need to value hygiene. You need to value nature. So those are the things that you need to value, not that car, that mobile phone, that watch that you're about to purchase. So my final lesson was, never value things over people. Care for your neighbor, care for your staff, care for your parents, care for your relatives, care for your friends. never value people less than possessions. And this culture for possessions has brought us to this stage. So we don't care for nature, we don't care for oxygen, we don't care for an unpolluted atmosphere, we don't care for any of these things. We only care for consumption. How much more can I buy? How much more can I hoard? So that we have to now change the mindset. If you want to live, learn to give. If you want to live, learn to give. If you want to live, learn to give. That's my final lesson from the pandemic. Thank you very much, friends.